Hi everyone, and thanks for tuning into this part of our video. Obviously you wanted to see the tutorial part in order to see how to make this little journal. So let's get to it. From the pictures you probably saw, these are my two pieces. Let's go front and back cover. So here's our front cover and our back cover. And all that I've done with them, like you can certainly print double-sided. For those of you that are good at this, like, you know, on your printers you can print double-sided. But because it's a cover, I wanted to give it a little thickness, right? I wanted it to be a little more sturdy. So what I did is I printed out each paper, 1, 2, 3, 4, cut them out and glued them together. So this is on my regular 44-pound cardstock that we normally print on, our matte presentation paper. So then when you get these together, you can kind of hear, like, you know, it's got some good rigidity to it because it is the outside cover. So these pieces of paper are 6.5, sorry, let's grab a ruler here to make sure. This is 5.5 inches by 6 inches. So 5.5 by 6, okay? And you're gonna need whatever 4 pieces of paper you choose. Now these are the florals, and these are some of the stationary ones that come in the kit. So I'm sure that these are going to be ones that you're going to want to, like, you know, have a look at least. Because these are such pretty papers. These are really super papers. Now, a couple of things. Remember when you print the pattern for it, that as you see, I know that this is going to be my spine, and I'll show you how to make this spine in a second. There's not a lot over here, and same thing on the back one. More of my image is over on this side. So you have to kind of look at that when you choose a paper. If you have a, like, image on some side and more white on one side, you got to kind of look at that before you place it down. If you were using this one, well, it doesn't really matter because, as you can see, the pattern is repeating all over the place, but just one of those helpful tips, hopefully. So now once you have your 4 pieces of paper that, again, are 5.5 by 6, what we want to do is we want to score at 4.5 inches and at 4 3/4 inches. Okay, so again, my 5.5 inches is along the bottom, so I have the up and down. Basically, I have it facing the right way, and I want to score at 4.5 and 4 3/4. Same thing here. We're just scoring the opposite side because we're making the spine 4.5, 4 3/4 from this side here, right? Okay, so that's pretty simple. What's going to end up happening is we're going to end up gluing, folding at, once you score them, at the large tab that's left over. So basically at the 4 3/4, we want to fold those two over, and we're going to end up gluing those together, okay, to form our book. And then what will happen is that 1/4 inch for our spine. Let's see if, as you can see, when holding it together, it doesn't work so well. There we go. So we're going to end up creating a spine, okay? And then what you're going to end up doing is you're going to have a piece of paper which is at 1/2 inch by 6 inches, this little strip here, and that's going to cover your spine up. Like, I know it's kind of hard to see with the way I'm holding it here, but I think you guys get the idea. So I am not going to glue these together here just yet. I'm going to kind of go through the rest of the stuff so that way we have all the parts and pieces, and then I'll come back with a finished, so then that way you can see it. So once we glue this together, obviously on the inside, we don't kind of want to see that, right? Like, we don't want to see that there is that in there. So what we've done is we've created a couple more papers, which are 4.5 inches by 6 inches tall, always 6 inches tall, right? And what I've done, this is our quilt pattern, one of the 2 that comes in this collection. And what I'm going to end up doing is gluing these together like so. So then when you open it up, you're going to have a nice finished edge in here, okay? This will act like a divider, and you're going to see from the, as you saw from the photos, I've got a little pocket in here so that you can, whatever, you want to tuck in a pen, you want to tuck in something else on both sides of this. So that's going to be how that's going to work out. The last thing to show you is the pages, okay? So once we have, let's just kind of mock this up a little bit. So once we have our divider glued in there, which will end up like that, we're going to end up putting some twine, some ribbon, some string, whatever it is that you want in here, and that is going to allow you to tuck these pages in here, okay? So these are going to be our journal pages. Okay? And I'm going to show you more about them once the project is complete, and we'll talk a little bit more in depth about them. But so you know with the journal pages, I've done the same thing. I printed out one paper, I printed out two papers, and I glued them together. Okay? Now these ones are 8.5 by 5.5. So I wanted them a hair smaller because obviously we don't want to fight. We don't want them 6 inches where we're going to fight at the top here and always be kind of poking through or peeking through. We want them a slight bit smaller. So 2 pages at 8.5 by 5.5. We score it right in the middle. So basically at 4.25. Okay? Score it in the middle. Choose what you want for your, basically your open and then your back, if you will, if we call them that. Choose the score line, fold them over, use your bone folder to fold them nice, and those will be on our insides. So that's the makeup of how to create this blank journal folio, so that way you can kind of see, okay, this is how it all goes together. Then in the next segment here, we're going to get to the decorating, and that's the fun part, right? So I will see you soon. Welcome back. Check it out, people. Shazam! Look at this. Isn't this fabulous? So this is our mini journal, our mini note journal. And we've used our butterfly garden collection in order to make this. And as you'll see on the front cover, I've placed 2017 across it. I put it up on some little sticky dots to give it some dimension. And this cluster here comes right from the collection. You get this all done, all ready for you. You just simply print it out, cut it out, and again, as you can see, I've put it up on some little jelly dot sticky things, not the foam ones, but the little jelly dot ones. So it just gives it a little bit of dimension. I didn't want to put it up on the really high foam ones because I thought, well, maybe stuff will catch on it, you know, kind of thing. But you decide. It's your choice, is yours. Same thing with this beautiful background paper. The paper is like one of the florals that's from and you'll see this actually common in this. I used one of the other ones, but the papers are absolutely stunning. It is just fabulous. It's a great collection. If you don't own our Butterfly Garden collection, that's one you should really be putting on your list and coming to have a peek at. So inside, here we go. Here's again, this is a paper that is all made for you. You don't have to do anything. I did nothing to this. I simply sized it. I downsized my papers so that they were about 60% of their original size, and that was so it gives me a good scale on here. But obviously, scale is a little bit balanced to the eye, so whatever you think. And I wanted to leave this white. I didn't want to embellish it or anything like that because this is a spot for you to write in. This is the idea behind this. This is a little mini journal, so I want there to be lots of spaces to write. On our first page here, again, a nice background paper, just a simple stripe, and a big area for you to write in. This tag, basically right here that I've printed off and glued on there, you can see how it's just glued on there, that is done for you. Again, I didn't do anything to it. This white thing is already done for you. Now there's butterflies obviously in the collection, and this spread your wings and fly little button. So I just simply printed those off. I used my Cricut to cut them out, which was kind of easy, right? That makes it a little easier for me. And then I used the little jelly dots. I didn't know how thick it was going to get, so I didn't want to use too many foam dots. You'll see on the next page I did use some of the foam ones, but I didn't want things to catch or get in the way if you were trying to write on it. So that was kind of my thought behind it. Now, I don't know if it turned out properly or not. I like it, but you see what you think. In the inside, here is another beautiful papers. Now here I did do a couple of things. This is actually a lined paper that is part of the solids. This is one of the white solid papers, and because it has this muted pattern in it, well, it looks like it's lined. So it looks like you can already write on it, right? So that worked out perfectly. I simply backed it with another piece of pink paper, and I actually put the white paper on top of there and printed it as one. Just save on paper, save on ink, but you could have layered that, and that would have had a very, very nice effect too, right? The other thing is this border that you'll see down here, I put that border onto the paper before I printed it out. So that's printed as one. Now you could put that border on yourself, and that border comes exactly as shown here. So the little eyelet piece, then there's the kind of the pink satiny ribbon, and then the check pattern. That's all one piece. Like, I didn't build that or something like that. I don't want you to think I did anything complicated here. All I did was I placed it on the paper first, so that way I printed it out as one thing. The butterfly obviously comes in the collection. I printed it out, and there it is on the foam squares, on the foam dots that we use so commonly, whereas this is on the little jellies. So it gives you the difference of dimension. Same thing with the tulips. The tulips come right in the kit. All you do is you simply print them out, cut them out, off you go. Same thing with this butterfly here. Super, super easy. And same thing with this leaves background paper. You saw that earlier when I was just showing you the build of the project. And this leaves background paper is a beautiful paper to use. Simple, elegant. This side here, same thing, where I used the white background paper from the solids. I layered the border on beforehand, and this border comes to you just as you see. I layered it on there. Same thing with the purple back. I actually layered the two papers together, printed all this as one thing, so it was just a little easier, quicker. Now, maybe that's lazy. I wouldn't call it lazy. Let's call it quicker. Yeah, I like that better. And gather bouquets of happy thoughts, our tag that's already done for you. It has the words on it. It has everything. I just simply printed that. Same thing with this flower cluster. It has the ribbon. The flowers are I'll zoom in on this in a second. The flowers already have some shadowing to them. It's just gorgeous. Like, Mary Fran does all this for you. So look at how easy and quickly you can put something together. And let's face it, you hear my voice. I'm a guy. Like, crafting, I'm not a crafter. I only started crafting when I joined Mary Fran in the business and started making some of these cards, because obviously her time is limited because she spends so much time designing. So I took my time, and she taught me things and everything else so that I could learn. And here's how it turned out. Like, folks, I do more woodworking and fixing motorbikes and stuff than I certainly do this. So if I can do this, you can do this. No question about it. Now let's talk about one other thing in here before I zoom in on this flower cluster. You see this string in here, okay? That is the one thing, when we had our form all built and we were talking about putting the spine on it, right? As you can see, my spine, I didn't do a very good job there, and I'll admit that. I've kind of left it a little bit open so you can see what happened here. The string gets wrapped, you basically, well, let me start over here. When you have your form, before you put these pages in, right, because you can see these pages just slide in and out. When you have your form and we glued on our centerpieces, before you glue on your spine, you take a piece of string that matches, whether you want to use jute. Jute would have been a good one to use with this, because it, you know, with gardening, that kind of theme, butterflies, everything else. But I did have this in our stash. And so all that you do is you start at the back end, put a little hot glue on or whatever the case may be. You wind it through this side of the book. You wind it all the way around again. You wind it through this side of the book. Then you come back out on the spine, pull it really, really nice and tight and hot glue that, and then glue your spine on over top. So as you can see, like I said, I did actually do this on purpose. This isn't a mess because I'm a guy. Like, you know, maybe it is, just a little bit. But I wanted to leave it so that you could see the string in there, so that you knew, oh, okay, so this is what you do with it. When you glue it in, as you can see, it does leave a little bit of a ridge. That was truly a mistake. I should have flattened everything out beforehand. I wasn't paying very close attention there. Make sure that your strings are all nice and flat here, so you don't end up with a bump here, whereas here it's nice and flat, right? So you can see the mess I made there, but I'll take ownership on that one. So let's go back into the book and let's zoom in on that flower cluster here. Where's our zoom button? So there we go. That is your flower cluster, and look at the detail in it. It's no different than the butterfly. Look at the detail in the butterfly. Mary Fran does these things for you so that all you have to do is print, cut, and create. She does all the hard work for all of us so that she makes us look good when you end up with a project like this, and people can look at it and say, wow, now that's something I would like to have or make. So the next page here, this guy here is just a simple flower cluster, okay, printed out, and this is a circle tag. This again comes right in the kit. I just print it and cut it out. And then this gives you room to journal in. right? You can add, obviously this is a little plainer than these pages here. Maybe you wanted to add in a little more bling or, you know, another little flower or whatever the case may be. You decide. You know, there's certainly all kinds of things you can do. And you can also, as you can see, this is just one, this is my one page. These are the pages I glued together. You could slide in another page in here. You can make as many pages as you want for each section here because you have that string in there and that'll hold them all in tightly. I just decided to do this because I wanted to show you how it works, what it looks like, all that kind of stuff. So on our divider, this is where we glued on. Remember we had our spine and we had those two pieces that we glued together so that our outside covers would hold together. Well, these are the papers that I glued on to make sure that that covers that up so we don't see that glue part. And what I decided to do with it is make little pockets here. So if you wanted to slide something in, maybe you gave this as a gift. So maybe you want to slide in a nice sentiment card. Maybe you want to slide in a gift card. Maybe you want to slide in a cool pen, right? Because we all need a pen to journal with. But that was kind of the idea behind the divider, is let's make it useful. This one, have a beautiful day. Again, pocket on this side. So you have the pockets, which, you know, those are always so useful in order to keep things in. Never settle for anything less than butterflies. Again, this entire piece was done for me. I scaled it down so that it fit the right size here, and I printed it out. I glued the three sides, boom, there it is, right? It was that simple. On this side here, this is actually a background paper. This is our stationery paper, and I've taken that and just cut it off here. I scaled it down so that the size fit. For the size of my paper here, but then I just cut this off here because didn't that turn out nicely? It almost looks like a tag that Mary Fran made for you. And again, there's the versatility of digital products and what Mary Fran does for us. So folks, there is so much you can do in here. Like, it's unbelievable. This have a beautiful day tag, again, it's already made for you. I printed it, cut it out, that was it. Put it up on the little jelly sticky little guys so that it gave a little bit of dimension, a little bit of interest. This page here, again, pretty background paper right from the collection. This, again, I made this using the same lined white paper out of the solids. I backed it with a purple paper just to give it, like, you know, some color blend here. This cluster here with the butterflies and the flowers, again, that's all done for you. You simply print that out, cut it out, and away you go. That is all done for you. And for those of you that don't have cutting machines, there is no problem to what they call fussy cut, right? You all know that word. I'm just learning that word. Where you leave a little white border around it because everything is so hard to cut around. Like, that's way too intricate. Hey, maybe some of you guys really enjoy cutting and so you'd have fun with that. But for me, this is way too intricate to cut out. So I would have left the little white border around and just cut around like that. And that would look perfect as well because it'd look like a sticker in there. So this I put up on the little jelly sticky dots, and same thing with this tag, Life is Beautiful. Created, sorry, dead battery. Maybe it means I talk too much. There's something for you to comment on, is see if I talk too much. Here's our inside of our page 2 in our back side. And again, this is the same square printed right out. This actual journal card is already done for you. It leaves you great space for writing in. I decided to embellish it with this nice floral cluster up here, which is done for you. You cut it out from the kit. Same thing with this Bloom and Grow tag. Mary Fran's created that for us. I put that up on the little jelly dots, put this up on the little foam dots to give it a little dimension. Same thing with the butterfly. Now, you may not be able to see it from your angle, but there actually is a butterfly on the page right directly underneath this. So I just scaled down the butterfly, the individual butterfly from the kit that comes for you individually, made it the right same size, put it up on the foam dots, and gave it a really nice little feature, nice little dimension. Follow your butterflies button, that was already done for me. Again, print it out, cut it, and away you go. You've got yourself a nice little tag in order to embellish this page with. The final page here, again, I went to a little simpler thing. Beautiful background paper, simple but yet elegant. Enhances my little cluster that's up here, which again is done for you. I haven't done anything to this. This was simply print and cut. Same thing with my little button down here. And again, I used the lined white paper from the solids, backed it with a purple paper to color coordinate in here, pasted that down first, then put these two items on the jelly sticky dots, and there we have it. Our back cover inside here, we talked about this a little bit during the build portion, how this is just scaled down and placed in here, but still gives me room to journal, still gives me room to write in here, and same thing with the back cover. The back cover is just a fabulous piece where I've used the same as the front. Here's our front with the white floral. This is the pink floral. So how you get, Mary Fran gives us the different colors in here because she never knows which color palette you're gonna choose to work with. So you have the same pattern, but in the different coloration. This is the greatness of all the things that you can get in a digital paper pack. This square tag, again, is done completely for you in the kit. This actually, I think it comes from the Little Bits if I'm not mistaken. But this, I just sized it so that it would fit on my paper, my 5.5 by 6 paper, so that it was a little bit smaller, obviously, so I have a little bit of room on the side. Printed it out, cut it out, and look at how nice that looks. I chose to just glue this one down because I didn't want something to catch on it, being that it is a back cover. It's going to be slid around and stuff like that. So there it is, folks. That is our mini journal tutorial. I hope you love this and I hope you'll make one. These were so much fun to make. As you'll see from our videos, I try to make something different all the time because, to be honest with you, I want to give you lots of different ideas because certainly there's many kits that you could make this with from our collections. But I also really don't have a preference. I'm not one of those people who really likes cards or really likes explosion boxes or really likes mini albums or whatever. I like them all equally. And if you are one of those people who's, I'm mostly a card maker or whatever, try giving this a go. Really, these ones you get is equally as much fun from, and because you're creating so many different pages in it and stuff like that, it actually extends your fun a little bit. When you kind of come to the end of something, you're like, oh, that was a lot of fun. I wish I could make another, or I wish I had more to make or whatever. This will give you that feel because there's more to it. Thanks again for watching the video. Please give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Please let me know your comments on it, and hopefully you'll subscribe to our channel so you'll know when new videos are released. But thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.